Good afternoon. It's tea time, number 32. I'm glad that there's some sunlight left for this video. And let's prepare for tonight's tea with the boiling of some water. As our water heats up, let's talk about tonight's tea. Tonight's tea is Orange Jasmine by Forte. It's part of their Lotus collection, and it's an organic green tea. Let's read this tea's description. Orange Jasmine. Sunshiny citrus brightens up fragrant, night-blooming jasmine. Let's read this tea's brewing instructions. Pour a single steep's pouch into any tea infuser. Pour 12 ounces of boiling water over tea. Let's see how long. Green or white tea for 2 to 3 minutes is our steep time. So we have our boiled water here. I gave it maybe a minute or two to cool down, because I know this is a green tea. I don't want to severely burn it. But here we are with our single steeps pouch. I hope it doesn't get everywhere. I have such an extreme fear of burning green teas. Now, this color on this tea is not a great indication that I steep this tea properly at the proper temperature. It does taste slightly bitter. It's not awful. I'm going to take some more sips and make sure I didn't absolutely ruin this tea. You know what? What I think I'm going to do is get some water again, really let it cool down, give it 5 minutes to cool down, infuse a new tea bag, or pouch rather, a single steep that is the same kind. We'll do the Orange Jasmine, and we'll try it again. I want to make sure I'm getting a fair assessment of this tea, even though Forte has not given us a great explanation of how to steep our tea. Let's take some initiative here and make sure we're tasting the tea as it's supposed to be. So I have our new group of boiling water, or just boiled water here. We will allow this tea to cool down quite a lot. I'm going to definitely set a timer, or just look at the clock for a 5-minute marker. That should be more than enough time, or actually probably the perfect amount of time to allow this tea to be at the right temperature to steep. And that's it. Let's do it. I just even took a sip of this water to make sure it was the right temperature, because I don't have a thermometer, which, to be honest, this is a gosh darn tea show. I should definitely have a thermometer. But here we are. I know the tea is probably right around the perfect temperature, or the water rather. So let's make sure we do this right. Once again, adding the single steep pouch. Still that fantastic smell. And the right way here. 3 minutes. See you guys in a second. Our 3 minutes is up. We now have a chance to try our tea a second time. Hopefully, well, maybe it'll be the same, but hopefully we get a flavor that's more consistent and less bitter. This tea is so smooth. Really enjoying all of the tastes, the beginning tastes, the middle tastes, the aftertastes. It's all a really good story this tea is telling. There is certainly less bitterness on this second cup we've now had And I specifically think it's due to the temperature of the water when we were steeping. The lack of bitterness here obviously is much better. The aftertaste is so much more soothing. Really, very little dryness. I think as little as you can get when it comes to green teas here. That might have to do with some of the jasmine. Getting some aromatic orange flavor, but not really any citrus. So no sour element to this tea. But overall, before I give you guys a rating, this tea does a great job at being a green tea with something else. It's not some flavor and then green tea, like some flavor masking the green tea, rather. The green tea is the body of this entire tea. It dominates, and that's the way I want teas to be. An oolong tea that has a flavor with it, I want to taste oolong tea. I don't want to taste that other flavor. So that's something I certainly appreciate with this tea, and that's why I think this tea has a great balance. A couple more sips, give you guys a number. This tea is an 8.9. I think it's right on the verge of being a 9.0. I was just thinking how it really is a mix, I think, between those two teas I've rated recently, the green teas, I think episode 3, Bigelow and Twinings. This tea is right in between the two. It has a mixture of both. I taste how it's like a Bigelow tea because it's a little more full-bodied, a little bit more of a slight bitter aftertaste, nothing heavy. And Twinings being much more elegant tea, a little more subtle. Both having their successful qualities and qualities that I'm not like, okay, this is the greatest tea I've ever had. But this tea is kind of right in the middle of that. It kind of carries the way a Bigelow tea does, and also has the same kind of subtle presence that a Twining tea has. And that's my review. Thanks for sticking around. I'm happy we did that second cup. It was more than necessary, I think. I'm so glad. So with that, I say I hope you have a good night and enjoy wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in your goals, in your goal setting. Keep going, keep trying. Don't think too much about yesterday. Think about right now. Cheers.